Greetings, kindred spirits, and welcome to all the new subscribers to this channel. It's taken me a few days to integrate the Mars-Uranus conjunction that took place on the 13th of February, and I'm actually wondering how it affected you. Actually right up until a few days before, I thought, well, I'm not really feeling any different than I have been, throughout the build-up of the conjunction. But I did have a sister come round the day before, and her crown chakra was giving off a really hot energy, and she was feeling quite heady. It wasn't until the evening of the conjunction that I started to feel some activity going on with my crown chakra, and I had quite a headache as well. So I just closed my eyes and concentrated on my crown chakra and felt that energy coming in, flowing past my third eye, right through to my root chakra. So I just meditated on all my chakra points to make sure they was in alignment so the energy could just flow and do its thing. But what I also noticed was that apart from that energy flowing through my chakra points, there was also a stream of energy flowing down the left side of my face, which stopped at my shoulder. This energy felt more like a trickle, but it caused a lot of tension in my left eye, my left ear, and my left shoulder. I know the left side represents the feminine, but I'm not sure why these areas were feeling the tension. So if anybody out there can enlighten me on that, I would be really grateful. Also, since then, I've been left with this high frequency ringing in my left ear. I have been having ringing in my ears anyway since last August, but it did calm down around December time. So if anyone can enlighten me on my experience, and I'm really interested in hearing yours if you've been feeling any unusual energies or having any symptoms yourself. I've just also posted an article on FB regarding the weather changes that are taking place on Uranus and Neptune, and I think those weather changes actually started around on the 15th of February, which I found was quite interesting because that was 2 days after the Mars-Uranus conjunction, and I see Neptune and Uranus as both being twin planets. Anyway, you can access that article through the link below to my FB page if you're interested in reading that article. So back to the full moon. Our full moon will actually take place in the sign of Leo in the true lifetime sky on the 19th of February at 15:53 in the GMT time zone, at 10:53 in the EDT time zone, and on the 20th of February at 2:53 AEDT time zone. So this particular moon in Leo suggests that there will be a lot of activity around relationships. Mostly intimate, but also close relationships in general. I feel that the shift with the Mars-Uranus conjunction has brought up a lot of nervous energy around how satisfied or unsatisfied we are feeling with our current situations. I also feel that some may be getting downloads of new information or ideas, and there will definitely be a refreshment when it comes to optimism. Whilst, others may feel depleted as the Uranus-Mars conjunction created a very high and very active energy. So while some have benefited from the boost, others are feeling overloaded. I guess it really does depend on our own personal astrological blueprint and which planets and points have been activated in our own charts. The moon in Leo is quite a dramatic placement for attention seeking. especially when it comes to romance, affection and playtime. Our full moon is also enshrined to Mars and Uranus, so a lot of us could be getting a boost of confidence and a feeling of well-being. But for others, it can lead them off track, and there could be a lack of focus on their routines. So it can be a very distracting energy as well. Especially since our moon is also in opposition to the goddess Vesta, which will just add to the heightened energy. So overall, I would say that we are all wanting change in our lives, or at least wanting a break from routine, especially if we've been in a lack of joy and fun in our lives for a long time, or have been feeling neglected by our partners. I also feel that many are really in their psychic instincts as well as their feelings. The pull towards sacred knowledge has been rising throughout the past year, and it is continuing to grow as more and more are awakening to their own experiences. But the awakening process isn't all smooth sailing, because as we awaken, we become more aware of the spiritual realms. And it is so necessary that we clear our old patterns of negative energy from our systems to make way for the new energy to come in. And this is showing up strongly in the astrology charts that I have been observing personally. Especially with the activities of Uranus and the goddess Pallas recently, who are both connected to Aquarius and the coming so-called New Age. And I know many of you hate that word, but in its proper context, it is what it is. Also, there has been a lot of activity going on with Chiron, who represents our deepest wound and our spiritual gift. Chiron brings us to a true understanding of our emotional wounds and what we have experienced throughout our life's journey. Chiron is the wounded healer in our charts, and he enlightens us to our spiritual gifts through our own personal experiences once we have mastered our emotional wounds and put them into a proper perspective. Our sun has now moved into Aquarius in the true lifetime sky. He arrived there on the 16th of February. So I'd like to wish all my 13 Star Sign Aquarian brothers and sisters out there a very happy birthday. So we're moving on from the light now to the dark, because the Black Moon Lilith will be in conjunction to our sun in Aquarius, although it's not a tight conjunction. Over the last year or so, the Black Moon has been flitting between Sagittarius and Capricorn. But she will now be flitting between Capricorn and Aquarius, which is a very dominating energy. In Sagittarius, the Black Moon was of a suspicious mind, where she was casting her shadow around issues of truth, honesty, and demands. But now the Black Moon will be casting her shadow of control, power, and rebelliousness. In conjunction to our sun, she depletes our energy and prevents us from being able to move forward, creating obstacles on our path and an imbalance within our own emotional makeup, especially since she is also in opposition to our full moon, which also creates emotional dramas, especially when it comes to our emotional needs and wants. This energy is very controlling and attention-seeking, and it has a high level of expectation, especially when it comes to our expectations of others. Any perceived weaknesses will not be tolerated and will be repelled by those that are more in their, personal power. The aim here is to be in our compassion and understanding of human nature. Because the Aquarius sun is all about independence and personal power, whilst the Leo moon is all about being noticed and needing attention. So either way, a strong feeling of resentment can be created through these opposing factors. Mercury, who is already in the shadow of his retrograde mode, is in an exact conjunction with Neptune in Aquarius. So for some, it will be very hard for them to speak clearly or speak up for themselves due to feelings of, unconfidence or just being shy and inhibited. The energies coming in are not stable at present and will be affecting us all in different ways. So the best thing we can do, if we are feeling irritable and impatient, is to just retreat and release it into our craft. Actually, I would also highly recommend some uplifting music to raise your vibration. Even singing and chanting will be helpful. I think we could all do with a boost of upliftment. And I don't even know if upliftment is a word or if I'm making it up. But anyway, upliftment. Since the last year has been a very intense time for most of us. The Leo energy does love to party and have fun. So, let's get in that mode, not take it too far, of course, but, maybe we need to release and raise our vibration through fun, play and laughter. Laughter is very healing and it's also very high vibrational. Venus is conjunct to both Saturn and Pluto. As a matter of fact, she is sandwiched in between the two this full moon. And this is where I feel relationship dynamics are likely to manifest when it comes to control issues, possessiveness or over-neediness. I also feel that childhood or past wounds will be at the root cause, as well as the fear of loneliness. So for some, they must let go of these issues and step into their own personal power and let go of possessive behaviour. Because, that can be very destructive and soul-destroying, not just for themselves, but also for the person that they're reflecting that onto. So if we are holding on to toxic relationships, then we are not allowing ourselves the space and the freedom to first heal and then to meet someone who is more on our wavelength. We also have a yod and 2 grand crosses. And, when I look at all the aspects of those grand aspects, it confirms that this is a time to break repetitive cycles and learn to understand our emotional triggers. We must own our shadow and put in the work on our own self-healing. We can't expect our partner or our friends to console or take responsibility for our wounds and inhibitions. We must take responsibility for ourselves and work on developing our own self-love, our own self-growth and our own self-reliance. But it's, also not a time to be an island either. This full moon is likely to bring up a lot of issues around freedom and commitment. And either way, we must accept responsibility for the part that we play within this dynamic. What I also noticed with this full moon's chart was that our moon is at 12 degrees and our sun is at 3 degrees. And I feel that this universal 3-year in numerology will be quite relevant because, if we break 12 down to a single number, it equals 3. So the moon at 12 degrees, break it down to a single number, it becomes a 3. Our sun is at 3 degrees. So I feel that, it's definitely, the 3 frequency is definitely relevant this particular moon. 3 represents a need for spiritual unity between the mind, body and spirit. And this is the challenge that has been set for us by the universe this year. Last year was an 11-2 frequency, which was all about the twin flame union, the balancing of the divine masculine and feminine energies on an inner level. This year will be all about bringing it into alignment with the spiritual realm, those 2 energies. And once we bring it into the spiritual realm, it will automatically manifest into our physical world. So the 3 energy is quite a fast moving energy. So we do have to be careful with our thoughts, our feelings and our communications, because what we are giving out through these channels will bounce back much quicker than normal in this very universal year. The trinity of the number 3 is alchemical and represents the union, as I said, of mind, body and spirit. But it's also the energy of the Kundalini awakening and the true unity of the divine masculine and feminine energies, by manifesting this inner union out into the spiritual realms and the physical world. But of course there is a shadow to every number. But for more information on how this 3 energy will be coming into play for 2019 leading into 2020, please do watch the live transmission that I did with Catherine Kinney from Cosmic Numerology. She gives a really good explanation of the 3 frequency and how best to use it. And we also both give insights into numerological dates throughout 2019 and into 2020 from both a numerological and astrological perspective. And that will include the Saturn-Pluto conjunction that takes place in January 2020. That link is on my FB page, and that link is below in my description box. But I've also uploaded that particular transmission to my YouTube channel as well, so you can access it there as well. Also, Mercury will be coming out of shadow and will start his retrograde on the 5th of March. And at the moment I am offering Mercury retrograde readings, on how this transit will affect you and, whereabouts in your life it will affect you. So, I will be recording these readings and sending them as a podcast. So if you'd like to order a reading, then please do email me at goodwitchuk@gmail.com and I will direct you to the payment link. But, those readings I'm offering at $55. So, like I said, please do email me if you're interested in that. So for this full moon and the next 2 weeks, I suggest that we get as much fresh air as possible. I also suggest deep breathing techniques, high vibrational music, chanting or singing. I also recommend that we keep a journal of our thoughts, feelings and ideas. Since a lot of us will be getting a lot of downloads coming in and a lot of information. We'll also be getting sort of like innovations and epiphany moments. But this is probably not the time to put them into practice unless, you have already been in that mode and are already grounded on your mission with the confidence, of course, that is needed. For some others out there, it could be that you're sitting on something very valuable, something that could be very helpful to mankind, or, just due to feeling inhibited or unconfident, you're kind of reluctant to put yourself out there. So what I suggest for this full moon as well is to burn a light green and a yellow candle for upliftment and renewal. Or place splashes of these colours around your home or your environment. And as always, I suggest that we burn incenses like lavender, sandalwood, frankincense and myrrh, and of course sage for cleansing. I would personally avoid too much high energy colours or incenses, like citrus. Since the energies coming in are already very high, I just feel that we need to tweak this energy to make it a bit, just to make it work for us in the right way. I am also recommending Steve Noble's meditation. As you know, I've been into his meditations lately. And this particular one I'm recommending is called Activate Your Inner Potential. But I will post a copy of that link on my FB page. And as I said, the link to that page is below in my description box. But you can also find this transmission, yourself on YouTube. So, he does have a YouTube channel. So I'm off to prepare my horoscopes now for this full moon. I'm hoping to have them posted up by tomorrow or by Monday. So yes, once again I'm wishing you all peace and much love.